Hello, I am Xarkun. This is World of Warships Legends. On the screen here, you see my build for Azur Lane Nelson Commander, level 16, Galler and Cunningham as inspirations. This, of course, is the build that I am using on my very favorite battleship, HMS Nelson, in the following game. Notice I have Big 7 in the second row of skills selected. That is an interesting skill because it cuts down on the armor penetration of the battleship shells by something like 15%. And when I was speaking to T-Bull a while ago, after my stream that I did with him, I was talking to him a little bit about that particular skill because I feel like he is a little bit skeptical about its value and whether that reduction in penetration is worth the trade-off for the extra damage that you get on the AP and HE shells. And, well, we're going to be firing quite a bit of AP in this game, so you can be the judge of that. Notice I am in a division with a subscriber of mine, Nova Kane, I believe is his name, and in fact I was in a party with him and two other players who are actually on the opposite team, and one of them is in the Nelson. Now, I wasn't sure that I wanted to put this game up because I have to mute all the audio so that you don't hear the live party chat going on between the four of us, but, you know, even though there's no audio in the background from the game itself, I guess you'll just have to content yourself with my eloquent and, as one viewer once put it to me, scintillating commentary. Anyway, we're sailing around this island in the Nelson. We want to get into a position where we can look into this Charlie Cap and have this island next to us to prevent any of the ships over there to the western side of the map from shooting at us. And then we spot our first target, Tier 5 Queen Elizabeth. We are top tier in this game, which is fantastic, exactly where the Nelson wants to be. Its bow, of course, can be overmatched by 15-inch guns, like those found on the Queen Elizabeth, but you can angle the ship so that any AP shells sent your way from 15-inch guns don't go through the bow and instead hit the ship's side armor for ricochets. You can do the same thing with 16-inch guns in the Nelson to varying degrees of success. Now, we did fire HE at that Queen Elizabeth. We've switched to the AP for the Molotov, which I feel like is not a ship that I see too often. And, of course, we are rewarded with a Citadel for 13,000 damage. That Molotov is certainly hurting at this point. My division mate, Nova Kane, is in HMS Hood, somewhere off to my right. Coming up in this next sequence, he is going to be invaluable as far as helping me goes, and he did announce to me just there that he lit a fire on that Ismail, who promptly extinguished it. So I attempted to follow up that fire with an AP salvo, didn't get anything. Notice the Ignis Purgatio heading my way. Doesn't look like he's got his guns aimed at me, but they're 16-inch guns, so I would prefer it if, you know, he didn't aim those at me. I am going to charge forward, don't want to be given broadside to that guy on the off chance that, you know, he notices me and wants to hit my Citadel, because he certainly will. Now, AP fired off at the Ismail out there. What kind of results do we get? About 10k. So, you know, Ismail, pretty heavily armored target. That guy's pretty angled. Minus 15% penetration on the shells with the Big 7 skill. And we get a pretty dang good result despite that. So, I don't actually know how bad it is that the penetration is reduced with the Big 7 skill. Another nice hit on the Leander. Of course, he's a cruiser and he doesn't have much armor, so the value of, you know, that kind of test against a lightly armored target, questionable at best. We did take out his torpedo tubes permanently on the one side of his ship, So it looks like he's trying to get into a position where he can launch them off the other side of his ship, but of course he's giving broadside. This is short-fused British AP. And, you know, he's got that nice Halloween camo, but it's not going to save him. Citadel, he's dead. Devastating strike. Lost a lot of HP there from some fires and some nasty chunks taken off of my hit points from that Queen Elizabeth, so we're healing back up now. Charging into a position where we can, you know, hit this Ismail who is firing HE, which might be the best choice for him, honestly, in this situation. His guns are not 15-inch guns. My bow will have no problem bouncing those. We send another shot right through him for 14k, and he's obviously going for the ram. Luckily, I have a division mate with me who is able to maybe, yes, where's the shot? Finish him off at the last second, saving me from the ram. Thank you, Novocaine. I would have died there, and this game wouldn't have turned out to be quite as good. Certainly not worthy of making a YouTube video out of. I didn't tell these guys that I was making a video out of this, so I hope they find it a nice surprise to find themselves featured in one of my games on YouTube here. Taking a shot at that Queen Elizabeth out there. Decent salvo on him, about 8k. And, yeah, so I've said before that I don't think the penetration reduction penalty on the Big 7 skill on Azur Lane Nelson is too much of an issue. And based on the results that I've been getting against the enemy battleships here, granted the two I've shot at were, you know, tier 5 battleships. Not that that matters too much. I mean, the Ismail is pretty heavily armored. The Queen Elizabeth can certainly be a formidable tank when properly angled, and nevertheless, you know, we're getting very nice results with the AP on the Nelson. The HE, of course, on the Nelson, fantastic, but don't discount the AP. It, too, is fantastic. Just everything is fantastic about this ship. I love it. That's why it's my most played ship. And, you know, you can say what you want to say about my ability to play maybe other ships in this game. I certainly am not going to call myself an expert on pretty much any other ship in this game, but the Nelson being my favorite ship, of course, I've put a lot of games into it. It's my most played ship, got a 65% win rate in it. I think I know what I'm doing in this ship probably more than any other ship in the game. Guess that's the nature of making the YouTube videos, right? I like to feature new stuff, you know, as it comes out, especially since I am now a community contributor, going to be doing reviews on all the premium ships for the upcoming campaigns, etc., which might not leave me a whole lot of time to play the ships I really love as much as, you know, somebody who isn't making YouTube videos can do. There's Gneiss now out there. Got HE loaded for whatever reason. It doesn't matter, though. It's going to be enough to take him out. There he goes. That's the second kill of the game for me. 115,000 damage done, so, you know, we are in a pretty good position here. Anyway, yeah, you know, I just don't have a whole ton of time to devote into a single ship unless I really like it, which is why I've devoted so much time into the Nelson. Can't say enough about how much I love this ship, although I try not to feature it in too many videos. This was just too good of a thing to pass up with all the AP that I've been firing. Now, you see the enemy Nelson out there. By the time this game is over, you're going to see what a fantastic game this guy had. He was actually in the party with myself and Novocaine, and, you know, there are two people in a division in the party, and then me and Novocaine, and I guess the idea is, it's not like I play in divisions often, maybe you guys do this all the time, but you got more than 3 people, you know, you split yourselves into different divisions, and then you start looking for a match at exactly the same time. Oftentimes you will end up in the same match, either on the same team or on opposite teams. Now, that guy in the Nelson, I don't think he knows I'm here, so he doesn't really know where to angle the ship. As a consequence, I am able to overmatch his bow because it's pointed straight at me and I've got 16-inch guns. Shells go right through his bow for 13k. Probably the only reason they aren't scoring citadels is because they're the short-fused British AP. If I wasn't in the Nelson and I was in the Iowa, for example, that shot might have resulted in a citadel. You know, as the case is, we probably aren't going to see too many citadels against battleships in the Nelson. That follow-up salvo, though, for 7k, not too bad. But take a look at the situation we've got here. We've got 2 ships left on the enemy team and 3 ships left on mine. 2 battleships are, I think, trying in vain to take out that Shores, who has concealed himself in a smokescreen. There's another nasty hit on the enemy Nelson. The Shores has been revealed, and you'll notice that the enemy team has 2 caps to our single cap. I can't really tell what the point situation is because those numbers are hidden amongst the clouds at the top of the screen. Ah, yeah, the enemy team is about almost 200 points ahead of us, so things aren't good. The only way we're going to win this game is by killing these last 2 ships, which is not something I initially realized. I thought this was a pretty strong position until, of course, the Shores radared me or used his hydroacoustic search. Not exactly sure what that was, but he spotted me. Until that point, I had been completely unspotted. The enemy Nelson wasn't aware of my presence, and, you know, I was able to shoot at him and get essentially free damage without any risk to myself of taking damage in return. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, my teammates are having a very difficult time taking down the enemy Shores, even though it's not exactly what you would call a heavily armored cruiser. It's a pretty lightly armored cruiser. I don't think it's giving them broadside. It's angled at them, which probably should mean that they should be able to penetrate and do a lot more damage. I feel like whenever I shoot at a Shores, it's always over pens because they're broadside. You know, that happens a lot, shooting at broadside cruisers with large battleship caliber guns. Occasionally the shells just go right through the cruiser for over penetrations instead of detonating inside of the citadel and causing catastrophic damage and one-shot kills and all that. Anyway, the 2 battleships are not able to take down that Shores very quickly, and at this point I've realized there's only 2 minutes left in the match. So the Shores needs to die, and then the Nelson needs to die immediately after him in order for us to win this thing. And I really do want to win. You know, I've racked up 150,000 damage, which is pretty decent game by any stretch of the imagination. The Shores is... I don't know how he's still alive. I wish I would have went around this island sooner. Because I'm pretty sure if I just tapped him with a single AP shell there, he'd sink to the bottom of the ocean. But, you know, he's got enough hit points left to not be sinking. And finally, the friendly Bayern takes him down, which leaves only the enemy Nelson left. And, of course, you know, in this situation, we're all in the party together, and there's a bit of a question as to whether I can kill this guy. He is angled properly to me, though, so I'm shooting... Well, okay, maybe he's not angled as properly as I thought. That was 6k off of him. Follow-up salvo, though, there's a chance that some of this is going to bounce off of his angled armor. Again, though, no, not quite. So we're charging in here. We want to be able to get a nice hit on him. He's opening up his angle a little bit, and I think this is the shot where I get some ricochets, or I just completely miss. I'm trying to point out to you that the Nelson can, in fact, mitigate the damage from 16-inch guns in certain cases. There we get a shatter. That might actually be the Big 7 skill at play, limiting the penetration of the shells, I'm not sure. But time is running out, less than a minute left, and it doesn't look... Okay, there's 2 ricochets there on the angled Nelson. He is firing HE. Maybe I would have had better success had I switched to the HE, although I think he probably has too many hit points for me to really deplete. Looks like I'm probably going to get one last salvo off on him. If only he had maintained that forward-facing angle to me, but he clearly knows what he's doing. He doesn't want his bow to be overmatched, and so it is not. That is the last salvo of the game before it all ends in our heartbreaking defeat. But that guy in the enemy Nelson, he had a fantastic game, got a Kraken Unleashed, 3,000 base XP, excellent job. It was really fun playing in that division. Hope you enjoyed watching the video. If so, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Thanks, bye.